How do you create a great culture in your church? I'm passionate about investing in people to become everything they're meant to be and filling the world with great churches that build the church, the capital C church. That's what I'm passionate about. And I want to help you build your church, whether you're a leader on the board of a church, you're a pastor, whether you're on staff, or whether you're a leader in your church because you're a volunteer. How do you create a great culture in your church? I've got 5 things. Okay. Firstly, I heard this great saying. I first heard it from Kath Talek, who's now the programs coordinator for Arrow Leadership, and it's one of the things I say the most because I just love it so much. Are you a thermostat or a thermometer? Are you a thermostat setting the temperature, or are you a thermometer coming into a room, walking into a meeting, walking into a service and just adjusting to whatever the temperature is already? As leaders, I think we've got to take ownership of this. Whatever the culture is you're dreaming of, be a thermostat. Don't be a thermometer walking in going, oh man, everyone's late. Everyone's negative. Why isn't everyone seeing the big picture? Be a thermostat. If you don't want everyone to be late, then don't be late yourself. Be a thermostat. If you don't want everyone to be negative and that's something that really gets you and that's not the culture you see, then be positive. If you want everyone to see the big picture, then you as a leader, you need to see the big picture and talk about the big picture. Are you a thermostat or a thermometer? The second one, vision. I know I talk about vision all the time, but vision moves people. If you've got issues with people being late and expectations, we'll talk about them in a moment. A lot of these issues aren't commitment, expectation issues, they're vision issues. Show people the big why, show them the big vision of where you're going. Have not a 2-year vision, but talk 10, 20-year vision, but talk 100-year legacy, 200-year legacy. What generational difference are you making as a church? Talk about that, help people buy into that, because that will move people significantly. Vision will change the culture of your church. The third one is expectations. Have clear expectations. Make it a privilege to serve at your church. Have clear expectations. When you're sitting down with a volunteer or a potential staff member for your church, or even a potential board member, don't promise the world. Oh, it won't be much, it'll just be a bit of this. Set out a big vision, speak potential over them, and give clear expectations. This is a big commitment. Because if you're a youth leader, you're investing in the lives of our teenagers in a crucial moment. If it's a kids ministry, you're investing in the children. This is a massive responsibility we have. If you're in worship, hey, you're helping to lead our church into the presence of God. These are significant. Don't make the expectations as small as you can to get people in. Have a big vision and then have clear, big expectations. So it's a privilege to be part of your team. To serve with your team, have clear expectations. The fourth one flows out of that. Hold people accountable. If you want to create a great culture, say you want to create a culture of excellence, why is everything, why aren't things better around here? I want them to be excellent. Well, go back to the third question. What's your expectation? Have you made it really clear to everyone in your team or in your church that your expectation moving forward is excellence? If you haven't, do that first. And then if that's key, or whatever your core value is, whatever's important to you around culture, are you holding people accountable? This is where it gets really uncomfortable. You're going to need to have tough conversations. If it's about excellence, then when something's not excellent, you're going to have that conversation. And you're going to have the little conversations. You're not going to have 10 things that aren't excellent and then someone gets kicked off the team. You're going to have that conversation then and there, one-on-one. When the moment comes right now, you're going to pull them aside and say, hey, I just want to talk to you about that thing. We talk about our excellence, and I just wanted to check in with you because that seemed like it was this or that. How are you going? What was that like? Did you see that as well? If the expectation's clear, then holding people accountable is much easier. And you've got to do it. If that's the culture you want, hold people accountable. And the fifth thing is people. Let's come back to people, because I want you to think right now, who is there in your church who is the walking epitome of your culture that you dream of? Who is it that sums it up? That's the person you want to promote. I don't care if they're young and inexperienced. If they fit the culture, then hire them or promote them over someone who's older and got all this experience. And you know what? The opposite's true as well. If there's someone who's quiet and they're older and they're not hip or cool, but they fit your culture just perfectly, then hire them, promote them. And that means you might say no to the hip, cool young person if they're not a fit for your culture. Make sure you're hiring and promoting people who fit your culture. And if people don't fit your culture, then you're not hiring or promoting them just to keep people happy. They're my 5 thoughts. Good luck. I hope you can create an awesome culture in your church, and let me know how you go. I love to hear stories of challenges people are facing, successes people have, and anything else. I love hearing from you. Cheers.